We're missing a few people. Is Lizzie on, or she's not on yet either?
She was here.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw her before. Do you not have everyone on the same screen?
I thought I did.
If you go to your top right and click speaker view, it'll change it.
Oh, hi, Lizzie.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to start the meeting. Good evening. Welcome to the Pagoda Board of Education Work Session Virtual Meeting, June 9th, 2020, 7 p.m. Can you please stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Pagoda Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Pagoda Borough Hall, communicated by letter to the record, filed with the clerk of the Borough of Pagoda, and posted on the Pagoda Board of Education website. Irving, can you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Alvarez?
Adalia, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Here.
Mrs. Kearns? Mrs. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. McHale? I don't see him. No. Mrs. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Jim, you're on mute.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mrs. Van Buren?
Present.
Miss Montgomery?
Here.
Mrs. Coles?
Here.
We have the quorum.
Thank you. Also present is Mr. Kennedy, the superintendent, Nathaniel Simon, board attorney, Mr. Efsel, our board administrator, and Elizabeth Ruiz, our board secretary. At this time, can I have a motion to open up to public comments on agenda items only?
So moved.
Jim, motion. Second?
Kathy.
Second.
Yes,
Sabrina.
Okay. At this time, if anybody would like to come forward, please state your name and your address. And this is on agenda items only. Mr. Kennedy, you could handle that if anyone comes forward, please.
Somebody has their.
Nobody coming forward?
see any.
Someone is. There's a hand up. Anissa?
Damien, you're mute.
Anissa, go ahead.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, just state your name and your address, please.
Hi, Anissa Bake, 450 Larch Ave. Quick question. I just wanted to know, I saw it on the agenda that you have free Chromebooks for kids. I wanted to know, is that for children in all grades, or is it just for the high school students?
We're purchasing that for all students where it's going to be needed.
Going to be needed, not just for students, all students everywhere, correct?
Correct. Across the district.
Okay, so it's as needed.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to come forward? No? Okay, at this time, can I have a motion to close public comments?
So moved.
Jim?
Second.
By Maureen, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, your report?
Okay, first of all, we are pulling item 99, that is the Chromebooks. The reason why is we have to go with a different vendor because we found out after that they will not be delivering until the end of November. So we found another vendor that will get it to us sooner. So we had to pull that, but we'll be putting it on next week with a different vendor. So we're still moving forward with that. Also, item number 49, I wanted to reflect that this is for Irfin's contract that he will be receiving tenure as of July 1st if the contract goes through. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Just some updates on where we've been going. There's a lot been going on. We started teachers coming in to cleaning out classrooms. We've been bagging all the students' stuff. Last week, we emptied out senior lockers, and over 2 days, seniors came in, social distance, handed in textbooks, handed in their equipment, paid their fine. So we did a pretty good job with that. So we're going to probably follow that model moving forward of handing student items back to them as we get into the summer months. Governor announced today it's going to change 100 times before July 6th, but right now it's up to 100 people outdoors. In 2 weeks, it's supposed to be 250. In 4 weeks, it's supposed to be 500. If we have 500 people, then we should be able to have an outdoor graduation as long as the other restrictions are let off the hook where we can share microphones and hand out diplomas. So we had a senior meeting with parents last night. About 25 people came, and we talked about options, and we definitely want to try to do something if we can. It all depends on if there's an uptick in these next couple of months. Great job by our elementary administration and staff and students and teachers. This was the 30th year of the Week of the Arts, a tradition that's been going on in Bogota for 30 years. And a pandemic was not going to stop it. They were able to virtually do it. And a lot of videos were created and a lot of different programs for the kids. The kids had a lot of good time. Some stuff was posted on social media, but kudos to them to making sure the kids still got that. So we are still holding our virtual celebrations. I wanted to make sure that no matter what, that the kids at least had something that the whole class would have together, because even if we come back in July, I can't guarantee that every kid could be there or if anyone gets sick. So there was a lot of different things. So at the very least, we are going to continue with our virtual celebrations. Tomorrow night starts the senior awards ceremony, which will be the athletic, academic, and performing arts all tied into one. They have a video that will celebrate the students, any scholarships that were given out. I watched the video already. It was pretty well done. And, everyone got on there and was able to hand out awards still. Again, virtually, but it's the best that we could do right now. Thursday will be Steen's virtual graduation. Friday will be Bixby's virtual graduation. And then Monday will be the high school virtual graduation. All links are going to be emailed out to the respective schools. We will also post all links on our website. So if you can't find that email or you want to send it to anyone, anyone can watch them. All these ceremonies are going to be starting at 6:30. So we got a busy week. Usually we have this last week of school. We have something every night, and it's still going to hold true virtually. Also a reminder that June 15th will be the last day for students. We sent out some emails. We put it on our calendar. We updated our calendar. So June 15th will be last day for students. June 17th will be the last day for staff, so they could get their grades in. We could hold some building meetings and then a district meeting. And then lastly, what I wanted to talk about is today I got to witness something that was pretty special. We had two seniors step up, Sebastian Cabrera and Carly Nunez, and they organized a very peaceful Black Lives Matter demonstration. I want to say there was close to 200 people there. I want to say our staff was there, our students were there, our parents were there, alumni were there, community was there. They got the police involved. We started at the high school. We marched down to Barrow Hall. Some former students gave some speeches. There's a lot going on right now, and I think as a district, we're going to want to keep the dialogue open, and we want to make sure that this is not just something that we did today, and we say, okay, we did something good today, but in the upcoming months in the summer, we're going to be looking to have some meetings with families and parents and students where they can voice more of their opinion and look to see what we can do for a district for all of our students. Because we do have a very diverse culture here. And that's one of the things that I really like about Pagoda is how diverse we are, and it's not one size fits all here. So we will be piggybacking off of this. The students stepped up, and I want to make sure that we continue to do what we're supposed to do as a Board of Education, as the educational leaders. And then lastly, we will be posting, I have to say from March to June 1st went like that. Like, it's amazing that we're sitting here today, it's June 6th. But over that course of time, there have been many videos created by students, by teachers, by alumni, all our videos. We're going to make sure we keep them up on our website, and they're going to be available to all students and families, that anyone, anywhere can see them and share them. So we'll have all that available once you go to our website. We're working on that because we're getting all the links together now as we speak. But we're going to pretty much keep this going and just celebrate what this time was and how our community came together to do it. I know many people have seen the high school. I know the town put up a banner. So there's a lot of great things going on in our little town that everyone has really come together through this time. So it's very moving to be in education and see these things. So we just want to make sure that we have it somewhere for everyone to see as we move forward. So that is my superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to policy 616-2001 to 616-2009. Any discussion? No discussion?
We should do the minutes first.
We didn't get the minutes in the packet. There's no minutes. It's work session. Who asked that?
We did get the minutes, but we still can't vote on them till next week.
I didn't see the minutes in the packet.
Yeah, I have
They're in there.
I
Yeah, they
didn't
were
see
there.
that.
Right,
Oh, I
we
didn't-
still can't vote on them till next week, so.
Right. Does anybody have any discussion on policy? No? Okay. We're going to move on to education, 616-2010 to 616-2062. Any discussion?
Yeah, Lisa,
Yes.
I've tried to eliminate most of my questions by getting in touch with Mr. Kennedy, but if we could, I'm good up to number 29. Could we just go there and then maybe go page by page? I have a couple questions.
That's
Rather
fine.
than jumping through the whole group. I don't know if anybody has any other questions up to 29, up to 28. I'm good up to 28. It's just from
I
29
have one on, I have one on 27 and
Okay,
28.
we'll go with, Sabrina, we'll go with you first, 27.
For 27 and 28, I was just confirming the rates for the 27 is the teaching assistant rate for an entire school year, but 28 is the stipend for the summer program. I was just wondering how long the summer program is for that rate, because that's per student.
I'm assuming, yeah, that's per student. I'm assuming that's 4 to 6 weeks anywhere in the summer. Each student is different. It'll be IEP based.
It just seemed like a really high rate for a teacher assistant. You know, I was calculating even what it would be per day. Is it a full day program? Are they most summer programs are half day? It just seemed like a really high.
Well, I
Because
actually,
that's these are out of district, correct?
Correct. These are all
So
guys,
it's tuition plus this rate.
correct. This is, in other words, when we send a kid out of district, this is what it is for us to send them out of district. So actually, I have to say, every year when we do get to these placements, I talked to Jill today about saying, well, you know, what can we do to keep these kids in district? Maybe
Right.
try to, and it's a lot. So, but it's something that we're definitely, I want to really look at moving forward, because that's not including the busing, and sometimes there's a nurse. There's a lot of different things that go into it. And right now, for us to do it, we're not set up to do it right now because of the equipment, of the access, and a school has a lot more where they're going, more opportunities with them. So, you know, that's why when we could talk about other options moving forward about keeping kids in district.
Right. I just, like I said, it's the fact that that's the teacher aid. That's not even the teacher rate for the, you know, a 4 to 6 week program. That seems really high. That was mine. That's all I had for, was 27 and 28.
Okay,
And
Kathy?
these rates all stay the same if it's virtual?
This is what it is right now, yes.
No, even if it's virtual?
As of right now, yes. We have to make sure we are meeting their IEP right now, and if it calls for it in their IEP, we have to make sure that they're getting all that's in there. Obviously, it is virtually, and it's not the same thing, but they are still providing services virtually, and this is what it is right now, so.
And are the schools confirming that the para is participating in those sessions? Yes. Okay.
Well, I think you got to realize too, I think a lot of them might be one-to-one aides, and that requires them getting on a bus with them sometimes and going with them to and from school. So the one-to-one are a little more expensive in some situations.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Kathy?
All right, on number 29,
Yes.
is that virtual? The summer school's virtual, right?
Correct. So right now, they are still, we felt it was necessary for the Care Plus to continue going on as of what's going on, because kids are in stress right now, and they have been meeting virtually through the phone or through Google Meets to still have services to do different things. So 100%, but we definitely spoke about this, and this is something that we feel a lot of kids right now have been in crisis and having a tough time during the situation. So we want to make sure that we have a professional available at all times this summer.
All right, I have a question on number 30. Is that okay, Lise?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Pardon me if I'm not quite balancing this out right, but number 30 goes with number 35. In the number 30 is Care Plus for behavioral health services.
That's our wellness center.
That's
the
the wellness.
That's the wellness center in the basement.
So that's it. That's only the wellness center. That's none of the other outreach or anything else.
No.
Okay, so if you get to number 35, that's a big ticket number. That's all the other services?
Yes.
$379,000?
That is for ABA therapy sessions, interventions, behavior assessment, observation reports, teacher assistant training. Yes. This is for the kids that we keep in, this is for the kids that we keep in district.
Right.
We have to provide all services for.
And all of those services are still applicable even if we're going virtual, continuing virtual?
Right now, everything we have on here is totally up to whether or not we're going to be in school. All our contracts that are going to be going out will make it clear that if we're not in school, they can be negotiated.
That'll be in writing?
It's on writing up here. We said that all the contracts.
Okay, all right. All right, that's because that concerns me. I'm very concerned with contracts because if we go virtual, we know that the law says now, if we agree to a contract, we have to pay it, even if the services aren't provided.
Well, I
So I
think,
don't want.
I think that's for this year only right now. It's not meant for next year yet, is my understanding.
Well,
So,
they passed the law.
but that was just, I think, just for this year to pay any contract that you already had already started and most of the needs were met. So I think next year there's going to be totally different, and anything we sign is going to have something in place saying that if we are not in school, then this is not going to be what it is. Am I correct in that, Irfan, in saying that?
Yes, we are working with Natanya to put that language, and also attorney will review the contracts before we sign to make sure that language and all the measures included based on whether we're going to virtual or in session.
All right, because I thought 3904 says if we sign something, we have to pay for it. But from what I got from the county, they're suggesting that as long as we have that language in there in writing, that we should be okay. So if you're saying that's what we're going to do, thank you. That's reassuring. I appreciate it. All right. All right, moving on. I think I'm good for the rest of that, Lisa. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, nobody else? We'll move on to personnel. 616-2046.
I just want to note that we have the language that I had recommended under the personnel. I think to address what Kathy had, we should have that language throughout the entire agenda that we have at the top there about the issue of it's contingent and could be modified upon student participation, the district's receipt of sufficient state school aid and other revenue. Because right now it's only above the section on personnel.
Right.
So if you're going to have it, if you wanted to cover those other contracts, Irfan, when you do the action meeting, can you put that statement above the other one as well?
Sure.
Beautiful.
That's with all contracts, correct?
That will be with regard to all contracts other than the people that are your, regular employees on site.
Okay,
So we need to put that in before the education and also before the finance, because we have contracts under the finance section as well.
Yes, put it on any section where it's outside vendors or outside contracts.
okay, personnel 616-2046 to 616-2062. Any discussion?
Yes, please.
Kathy?
On number 52, how are they planning on doing the testing? I know a lot of,
Well, we have to improve people just in case there are a lot, like right now, he lifted it up to 50 people minimum in a building. So if he
Okay.
lifts it, we have to have people approved to do it. So
Okay.
right now, it would have to either be virtually, or if we're able to get them in, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it one way or the other at this point in time.
all righty. So it would just be for that purpose, not for the sake of just going in to put in hours.
No, this is strictly for evaluations only.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
Anybody else?
What number are we going to?
We go to 62.
62. All right, I have a very large concern, and I think Nathania just addressed it though. Number 61, page 16.
Okay,
I do understand from the county meetings that 3904 says that if we sign contracts, but as long as I know these coaching positions are with the same language as the other contracts that we're awarding, that it's contingent on the activity happening, I'm very uncomfortable approving coaches, not to pick on football, but it's one of the first ones up. If school doesn't open and there's no football, we don't need to have to pay for the coaches, nothing against the coaches. But just as long as the language is clear, that this is if the sports happen.
Agree. We're kind of it's in a tough spot because if they do allow outdoor meetings with high school teams, which they haven't happened yet, we have to have coaches approved to do it because they work out in the summer. So, but I think that understanding is going to come that if there is no season, they will not be getting paid. And we will know that, I think, sooner than later, what's going on for next year, I hope.
Right, okay, so, yeah, all right. So, and that'll be in writing too, so that we don't have any litigation down the road. Thanks, thanks, thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll move on to finance. 6/16/2063 to 6/16/2107, and we're pulling number 99.
But 98 is still okay?
Say 98, Kathy?
Well,
And 98 was
99.
the other computers, right? The laptops.
We're pulling 98. The student ones are,
Okay.
that's the one we're right. Am I correct in that, Irfan? It's the student one, the faculty one.
I thought you said 99.
You said 99 before.
98 is pulled. 99 stays.
Okay, so we're pulling
Yes.
98 and 99 stays. Okay.
Thank you. Sorry, I jumped there.
Discussion? No discussion? Kath?
Nope. Where are we going to now on this one?
We're going to 107.
All right, then 106. I don't understand what that means. The language is a little confusing there. I understand the state, contracts and cooperative services and whatnot, but if you read that, somebody just needs to explain to me what that's saying, because,
Did you say 106?
yes, please.
106. So during the year, we did some purchases and received some services from these companies. And these are specifically over the $40,000. And the board has to approve, although they are state contract or any co-op, the Board of Education still needs to approve that we are exceeding the bid threshold.
Okay,
So you are approving that for those vendors we ratifying actually this year, we are exceeding the bid threshold.
oh, for the 1920 school year, I see. So we're, okay,
For this year, yeah. we
right,
have
it's not
finished
looking
the year.
forward, it's what we're doing for this year. So they went over the bid threshold and we're just saying it's okay that they did.
Yes.
Okay, got it. And on 107,
Okay,
in the last paragraph on that page, 29, be it further resolved. It says the second line, the expiration of the due diligence period. When is the due diligence period? How long is that? And do we know if all the things like asbestos and contaminated soil and fuel tanks and electrical and wiring, do we know that all of those are on the checklist of do we even know if this building is viable?
Yes, the architect, we met with the architect last week, and that's what they would come up next and do. So what it would require, and they said they would have no problem probably extending it because they understand the situation we're in with DOE approval and everything.
Right.
But right now, this just is allowing us to go forward with finding out if the building is an option for us with all those questions you just asked.
All right, I was just curious because it seems to limit us. I'm just curious when that due diligence period is, so that our hands aren't tied.
I could find that out, but I think that's just from their end that, in other words, if they think that we're going too slow purposely, they could just say, okay, we're backing out of the deal, and they just say, we're going to sell it to someone else.
Okay, I'm just curious. Okay,
anybody else have any discussion? Okay, we're going to move on to committee reports. Does Anybody have any committee reports? No committee reports. Do we have any old business? No old business. Do we have any new business?
If I may? No, go ahead. No, you
Sabrina?
go.
No, mine was just the beginning of the month, the governor passed a new sex ed curriculum that I don't know if anyone has seen in the news, but it's getting a little undershadowed right now because of everything else going on, but a lot of controversy. So I'm sure it's not policy for us yet, but just very explicit language. And from my understanding, well, I need to learn more about it, but either the board or the superintendent or the curriculum directors get to really select which avenue the language, what exact language gets to be used. So I just wanted to bring it to attention because, again, it was a very heated dialogue. There's articles. I pulled I can share. I pulled the exact policy that was written. It was June 2nd. If anyone would like to see it, but I just think it's something that should be open. Hopefully we can have an open discussion about it and give parents the opportunity to weigh in. Possibly, I know I had learned in our last policy meeting, we learned that with the drug, I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but the drug and alcohol policy, that we had that really great vaping presentation that was at the high school last year. So I just thought, is that something we could possibly do so that parents are educated in advance of what the kids are going to learn, just so we can have open dialogue?
Yeah, and I
the
think
level of explicitness of what.
I think it's coming out September 22, I believe. I think it's not approved for this year. It's for next year or the following year. I have to look.
I think it's next. I pulled it up on my phone so I would be able to. It's due. It was 2020 New Jersey Student Learning Standards. And it's not so much the topics. Obviously, we're in a new age where our kids need to be educated and have a full understanding. It's just some of the explicitness is what caused a lot of controversy. So I just felt, again, I appreciate, and my kids are little, but I appreciated that vaping seminar that we had because, as a mom of a preteen, just to know these things and what to expect as my kids grow. So same thing, if we can do something that just opens a dialogue with parents, here's what kids this age are talking about as it pertains to sex, and here's what our curriculum is going to look like, instead of the reverse and parents getting questions on like the reverse, and I'm like, hey, here's what I learned at school today. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's worth reading some of the articles because I had to Google some of the terminology because I didn't know what it meant. So to think that some of like late middle school and high schoolers would be learning some pretty intense terminology was just a red flag for me personally.
Yeah, well, we could definitely do that, and we have to approve all curriculum, but I know for 8th grade, for sex ed, parents do have the ability to sign a student out of that health class. So I did see it, and to be honest with you, someone sent me the headlines, and I thought it was a joke at first.
So did I. I mean, when I read it, I was like, this can't
I didn't believe it at first.
be real. Okay.
There's a method to the madness, and I'm sure they have some type of they have some thought process behind it. So, but 100%, it's not something that's going to happen in September. It's a year away. We have to adopt the curriculum and all those things anyway. So
Okay.
I read today already that there's such an outcry that they're going to give local boards of education maybe a list of what they want to touch upon. I can give you topics, but it's going to change because there's so much outrage. I've never seen it change. Yeah, it's going to change. Trust me.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody else have any new business?
Yes, something on one of the workshops that I attended, Lisa. New Jersey School Boards is recommending that for boards, when we have committee meetings, usually each committee gets their agenda for the meeting. School Boards is suggesting that the agenda be sent to all board members so that in case someone else has a question, say on policy, we know we're going to have a policy meeting, we're going to discuss some updates and whatnot. for the whole board to be advised that the policy meeting will be held, and what topics are being addressed, so that if another board member has a question that's pertinent, they can submit it to the chairperson or to Mr. Kennedy, and then it can be discussed at the meeting, so that it's proactive.
Okay, that sounds good.
Seems like a neat idea.
That's easy enough that we're pretty much Google now. We share everything online because we're so.
Yeah, that just seems like a good idea.
So with this new executive order from the governor, will we be having our board meeting, next meeting at the school?
I don't, you know what? I don't know. That's a good question. The question is though, can you technically social distance in a board meeting? Like, I guess, how could we do it? So I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't heard anyone say you could, but I guess we'll find out very shortly, because again, he announces and then the next day is when we figure out what we have to do, so.
But it would have to be approved first if schools can even be open, right?
Yeah, like right now,
I
we
mean,
have no information towards next year. So
right, and that hasn't been approved.
a lot of different studies going on, and I honestly believe that the protests, if there's an uptick, it's gonna change. You know, a lot of things will change. I know some states are on the rise that have opened up. In the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of people out. So I'm curious to see if there's an uptick. And then based off of that is what we're going to be able to do or not do.
Just for your information, we already put a public notice that is going to be virtually the next week, regular meeting.
Okay.
Anybody else, any new business? Okay, we're going to move on to public comments. Can I have a motion to open up to public comments?
So moved.
Jim?
Second.
Second, Maureen, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, at this time, if anybody would like to come forward, just please state your name and your address. And Mr. Kennedy, you could take over the public comment portion.
Yep. Okay.
Somebody has their hand up.
Denise?
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, it's me again. I just was waiting to say something because this is not on the agenda.
I'm sorry, can you just give your address again, just so we have it on
Sure.
record?
It's 450 Larch Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
I just have to actually want to give a shout out to the 2 third grade teachers at Steen School, Miss Piano and Miss Cataldi, for doing an awesome job with the kids since we started school virtually. It's amazing to see how they've handled the kids and kept them engaged every single day. I've been also working from home, so I kind of hear them, you know, when my son is on with them. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Miss Piano and Miss Cataldi. Thank you. And also, I was also wanted to say that it was nice to see the principal, the interim principal. He also came in one day, and also the regular principal. She also came in before, I believe, after she was came back from her maternity, just to see the class, how it was going. So just wanted to say thank you so much. And also to Mr. Kennedy for keeping the parents posted. You know, every week we get emails or texts from him and, you know, letting us know what's going on in the district. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, do we have anyone else coming forward? Okay.
Mrs. Burney.
Just state your address, please.
Carmel Burney, 162 East Portly Road, Pagoda, New Jersey, obviously. I just want to give a shout out also to Miss Ketchum, 5th grade at Bixby School, for a great job. And especially to Miss Nagurka, 5th grade teacher. She did a fabulous job since March, but she's also an EMT, and she come into class in the morning after working a midnight shift, and she's just been fabulous. And I really want to thank her for all her hard work and, you know, to the kids and being an EMT at nighttime, serving the communities. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have to say, I have received some positive emails and phone calls for a lot of different staff members, which has been great. Mr. Connors, on time as usual.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Quick question.
Mr. Connors, just state your address, please.
111 Gray Street. Where can we find the meeting agendas posted? And the second question is, where are the recordings posted, or where can you find those?
If you go to our website now, I kind of made it as simple as possible. I created a board meeting heading, and when you go on there, it has the date, the minutes, the agenda, and the recording posted after the meeting. So the agenda goes up usually Monday morning. I get a reminder if it's not up from some people. And then
Who could that be?
it's always up the Monday before each meeting. And then the minutes after everything's approved, and the video usually a day or two after we just make sure that it's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I think there's a question down in the Q&A box there.
I just saw it was Mr. Connors said, bless you to Maureen. I guess Maureen Miller sneezed.
Nobody else coming forward?
I don't see anyone.
Okay, can I have a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Jim, a second?
Second, Sabrina.
Sabrina, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I just want to say thank you to the PTOs from Steen, Bixby, and the high school. They did the lawn signs for all the graduates, sixth grade graduates and the high school graduates, and they delivered all the signs to their houses. So I want to give a big shout out to all involved. I think it was a wonderful gesture you did, and I know it was greatly appreciated by the students. So kudos by everybody, and the board really appreciates your efforts. So thank you. Okay, at this time, we need to go into executive session. So I just want to explain to everybody, we are going to be leaving the meeting, and we're going to go into a different Zoom. We'll hold our executive meeting, and then we will come back to this Zoom meeting to close out our meeting. And but you stay on in case we have any action taken. So at this time, executive session, whereas seat 231 PL 1975, also known as the Sunshine Law, authorizes a public body to meet in executive or private session under certain limited circumstances. And whereas said law requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting before it can meet in such an executive or private session. Now therefore be it resolved by the Bogota Board of Education that it does hereby determine that it is necessary to meet an executive session on June 9th, 2020 at 7:41 p.m. to discuss matters involving negotiations. That matter discussed will be made public if and when confidentiality is no longer required, and action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at public meeting. Action may or may not take place upon return from executive session. Can I have a motion?